Good hello to you. My name's Eli Gumble, and you've found the Rock and Robots podcast. Rock and Robots is a monthly gig slash robot fighting night at the Others in Stoke Newington. I run it, I host it, I book all the acts, and I do this podcast where I interview the bands who make it up and tell you a bit about what goes on here to entertain you and also promote the night. Please come to the night, it's very fun. My first interviewees today are the returners to Rock and Robots, the two guys who make up Saxophone Band. Let's throw to interview now. So, with me on the podcast right now, it is the two guys, Angus and Tom of Saxophone Band. Hello. How are you guys?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, all good.
Doing great.
Yep.
How are you, Eli?
Yeah. All good too. It's good to be
Good.
back in. It's my first interview I've done this year. I did a couple for last year, and the podcast has taken a little 2-month break. But we are back, and we're you guys are booked for the first Rock and Robots of 2025.
Exciting.
Anyway, Saxophone Band, you guys, let's hear about how you guys came together, because I had a brief from your brief notes, your brief briefing of me. I saw that you guys went to see John Hopkins, and how do you get from seeing that sort of electronic stuff to deciding you're going to form sax and drums band?
I think it was wine. I think there was a lot of wine drunk that
Drank a
day.
lot of wine. I like how you started it from John Hopkins because it's all leading up to the hangover that we had the day after.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a festival together. I was meant to go with a partner and they broke up with me and I was shattered into a million pieces. And then Tom came with me and it was much better than it ever could have been. Because we both just there were some incredible artists at this festival, but yeah, John Hopkins, saw him for the first time, and then we got very, very, very drunk on like a couple of bottles of wine each, I think, which then led to the next day. And I remember we were sitting on a hill. I can remember it very clearly, just kind of looking out over. I think they had this kind of like fancy spa thing that you sometimes get at festivals, and we were talking about the band Death from Above 1979. I'll pass over to Tom. I don't want to speak entirely.
I can introduce Death from Above 1979. They are a bass and drums duo from America somewhere. I haven't researched them. I should have done that before this because they knew they were going to come up. So the original idea was to do a cover band of them, but with baritone sax instead of bass. And I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
I think it started as a joke.
It did, yeah. It started as a joke.
And then we kind of.
I'm sure it was funny at the time when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't play the drums though, so we put a pin in it for a while.
Yeah, it was 2019 where the idea of you playing drums was just
Hilarious.
nice.
Mm.
Yeah. Tom's a guitar player by trade.
So I'm normally a guitar player.
Tradition.
Yes, a lot of timesing interchanges and tapping on the frets.
Yep. Quick fact check on Death from Above 1979. They are Canadian.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Within what,
From
5
the
minutes of the
Americas.
first podcast?
Did you say the States or did you say America? Because I
I
guess
said America. Did I say? I didn't say you. North American. Is Canada North America?
Yeah.
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 You can run it back and check that.
Yeah. I don't trust Wikipedia.
Which is quite funny because
Yeah.
Wikipedia is a source.
Foreshadowing some stuff there. But anyway, so then I guess 2019, it wasn't long until 2020 when there was a mass event in the world, and we all had to stay inside for a while. And I got myself an electric drum kit and did some lessons on Drumeo, which is quite popular now.
We actually started recording some, which has never been released and probably never will be, like saxophone-led pop punk.
Yeah, because originally,
Yeah.
there's a whole trail here so we were originally a Death from Above cover band. Death from Above 1979. We were called Death from Above 1F3B7 because we're both nerds, and that's the Unicode representation of a saxophone. Then we shortened that to 1F3B7. Released. It was on Spotify for a little while. This pop punk song, which was, I think it was just Linoleum by NoFX.
More or less.
Listening back to it with some really nice saxophone over the top.
It was pretty
And then we
catchy, to
thought,
be honest.
yeah, we thought no one would be able to search for 1F3B7, so we changed our name to Saxophone brackets band, which has been even less searchable.
Which I kind of
yeah.
enjoy. I think
Yeah,
there's a joy in not being discoverable.
yeah.
You say that it gets old.
Yes, I mean, yeah. It's also there's a real joy. I think Eli, you're the only promoter we've ever worked with that has ever spelt the name correctly, like in its entirety, which is Saxophone, and then the word band in brackets afterwards.
Yeah,
sometimes it's Saxophone band, sometimes it's just Saxophone in all caps. Yeah,
but I do like that. It's I laugh every time because we've done it to ourselves.
But yeah, so we eventually iterated until we found ourselves at the point where Tom could play drums pretty well, which is incredible. I think like 6 months of just intense being at your like parents / just on your own in a house trying to learn drums. And then I think we couldn't meet up for a while. So the writing process, I know you said you were going to ask about that, but that kind of leads straight on.
It's all freeform.
There we go. Started off and continues to be mostly me just sending voice notes going like bam, 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 and then what do you think to Tom?
I don't think I've ever said no to anything.
Yeah.
To be clear, is that with the saxophone, or is that just your voice doing that?
Just my voice normally. That's how I compose most things. I just kind of think of them and then I need to sing them. I think some of the original ones I did play saxophone into the phone, but I've since stopped doing that.
There's no need.
There's no need.
Yeah, we haven't written anything in a while either. So
we are planning to learn one that I sent the other day that I can't remember how it even goes. But
I forgot.
Maybe
going
to bring something new.
That. Yeah, we got a rehearsal.
One rehearsal. Yeah.
That's more than I have for most of my gigs. Yeah. You're fine. So the name Saxophone Band with the brackets, that is because of
our love of Wikipedia. Despite me saying I don't trust it, I don't always trust the things I love. Wikipedia being one of them. You got to check your sources, but
Check your sources.
It's a wealth of information.
I think one of the first accounts that the Saxophone Band Instagram account followed was the Depths of Wikipedia Instagram account, which if you haven't followed it already is an incredible read. I think we've gotten at least one track title from there. Actually, no, we haven't. No, a friend of mine told me about Alan Kornikova because I was talking to him about the Depths of Wikipedia, so it's just even more meta because he said, "Oh, you know what would be a good one is Alan Kornikova," and then we had a read of it. I won't tell you anything because that's spoilers for every time that we play the track. But
we do ask the very large crowd that forms at all our gigs to get their phones out and scroll through the Wikipedia page during that song.
It really curates a vibe, making everybody get their phones out and look at them while we're playing music.
Yeah, something I was thinking, because you have an EP called Saxophone EP, and per Wikipedia's naming conventions, if someone else came out with an EP called Saxophone EP first, that article about your EP would be called Saxophone EP, Saxophone Band EP.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The idea is to make that as convoluted as possible.
Because we wouldn't have to be Saxophone Band if we ever got a Wikipedia page now.
I mean, well, if there was a saxophone band that was something else, like a brand of something else. I can't think of other things.
There has been a very small batch of craft beer named Saxophone. But it's named Saxophone brackets beer.
Yeah.
Is that related to you? Or
yes,
it was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My friend James with Landcrest Brewing, he made a very small batch. I don't know if they've got a website. It said it was 7%, but I feel like too many of our stories involve alcohol now. I don't really drink much anymore.
I drink a lot less than I did in 2019.
Yeah, same.
When the concept of this band was formed.
But yeah, that beer was definitely a lot stronger than 7%. I think everyone that had one then had to go to bed. So
it's exactly the sort of feeling that we want people to have as soon as they've finished listening to us, really, just completely drained.
Yeah.
Well, I'm playing after you on Sunday, so
Yeah. Cover your ears.
we'll see.
Yeah, hand out earplugs to all.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's good practice anyway.
Yeah.
At live music, got to protect the money makers,
yeah.
as I call them often.
The ears, the money makers, are they?
But for a musician, yeah, I think so. For a performing musician, or even a
Yeah,
recording one.
I'm definitely far in the red with my music career.
Well, even then, the ears, because Beethoven was still able to compose without hearing.
True.
He
True, he did
he
have
installed
the
like a
little
metal
stick.
bar on his piano.
Yeah.
He'd bite into it and just feel the. Can't really do that with drums. That'd be
He was better than us.
Yeah.
So,
debatable.
yeah. No, I,
Thank you.
I,
Okay,
I,
all right, okay.
I'll accept it.
Beethoven S tier. Yeah, sure.
Beethoven
Take that.
brackets composer.
With your love of Wikipedia, have you contributed to it at all? Either financially or by editing things?
No, actually, I've done some edits. Actually, I have. I've started doing some edits, but it's all been punctuation so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some very minor editing, I think approximately 10 or 15 years ago. But I have not yet succumbed to Jimmy Wales's repeated asks.
Is he
for
still
donations.
involved?
I don't know. I just remember that was.
They don't put his picture on the the donation drives anymore
Okay.
because it was just him staring at you like, come on, dude.
Quite recently, I was in a group chat with some friends, and we got quite excited about a new footballer playing for Watford called Kwadwo Bar. And after his first couple of games, we realised his Wikipedia wasn't being updated, so we tried to rush to get it up to date, which is a great story.
I thought something was going to happen.
I think he just got a red card for doing a Fortnite dance at the opposition after they won.
That
I
is
saw
quite a
that,
good
yeah.
entry. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a reputation for a bit of what's the word? I was going to say a swear word, but I won't. In case this is a family-friendly podcast, for antagonism. That's the word. That's a good word.
Yeah.
He was once a ball boy.
Something housery, I've heard.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
He was a ball boy and thought that the opposition goalkeeper was taking too long to take a goal kick, so he ran onto the pitch and put the ball down for him, and it's not allowed.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't expecting to talk about him either.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you done it?
So
I'm finding this quite. I just don't know where it's going.
I'm too scared to edit on Wikipedia. God, cringe story I might cut out of the edit because I did some edits on WikiHow, but as a 15-year-old in the how to ask out a girl article, I was like, don't do this because it's what I did. It was immediately reverted. So I'm scared because how quickly it was reverted. Someone was watching that page. And so Tom learned drums for this band. Angus, did you already play baritone sax?
Yeah, I started on clarinet at school, and then graduated, I guess, to saxophone. No, that's harsh. I still like playing clarinet. I moved on to saxophone. Barry sax was my first sax that I picked up when I was 16 because there was just one at the school, and they were like, "Someone needs to play this, so please, can you do it?" So yeah, I went from this tiny, very easy to carry instrument to this giant box that felt like I had to yawn while I was doing it because the embouchure is so different. And I never looked back. This is the first band where I've like led on a Barry sax because you don't normally get it at the front because it's quite low and gets swamped a little bit by noise. But when you're the only noise and you've amplified yourself and done some crazy effects, then it can be quite punchy.
Have you seen? I think they're called O, the band. I think they're called.
Yeah, I was really upset when I first saw them because that's basically us.
But they're the only other band I've
done
seen.
really well.
They're so good.
They're really good.
They're really, really good. It's like if anyone listens to us and thinks, "I wish this was a proper band that was like releasing stuff and touring," then listen to them because they're really, really good and they've taken it a lot more seriously. And
Alternately, if you're ever
fan.
listening to O and you're like, oh, I really wish I could see them locally to my hometown of Islington, Stoke Newington, sorry.
Where are they based?
Then Saxophone band will be performing irregularly at the others starting on Sunday the 12th of January.
Although I'm now based in Sheffield, so that's
And holidays only. Basically.
holidays, yeah, or occasional excellent gigs. If there's robots involved, then we'll do it. And I think yeah, I have never played a Rock and Robots.
Angus, you mentioned putting effects on the saxophone. You mentioned before we started recording, it was quite a crazy setup. What was it?
Yeah, because I think we wanted, because we were still aiming for that Death from Above cover band, we really wanted to get a similar sound to theirs, which is like an overdriven bass guitar. So I'll take you through it. So you've got a saxophone, then there's a clip-on mic, which is a pretty common kind of thing to have with a horn. It's a radio mic. I use it in all sorts of different contexts. We then plugged that into something which split the signal into two. And then one of those signals went to a pitch shifter and put it down an octave. And then the other signal went to an overdrive pedal, which was really, really difficult to keep control of because the radio mic is basically a microphone that's designed for a wind instrument that's not doing any of these weird things, and so picks up noise from every single direction, including like the drums and including the speakers. So the feedback was just so difficult to control.
Also, that pedal was definitely pretty broken, I've realised.
I don't think I knew that, but I remember fiddling with it, and yeah, we always gave whatever sound engineer we were working with at any venue a major headache for the first 5 minutes until they basically
and a
just
beer.
turned that down. Yeah, we'd always buy them a beer.
And I think I found out that was broken because I then played. We were blaming the sax, and I played a gig on guitar with it for the first time in about a year. And I was like, oh, it's picking up like footsteps on the stage somehow. Something is very wrong with this pedal. So
Yeah, we had a gig where, yeah, I think just the sound of the kick drum was just coming through it, which was, yeah, almost impossible to deal with. So since then, yeah, we've significantly streamlined operations, and now it's just the pitch shifter because I found that the pitch shifter actually has a dry wet control on it, so I can just set that to 50%.
And it's also got two outs as well, which I didn't realize. Well, I realised we didn't think that we could just use. So we can have full dry on one, full wet on the other, and it's
so the sound you get in the end is just loud baritone sax, which I'm playing in a very like loud and raucous way, and then a pitch shifted down the octave version, which we try and get the venue to turn up as loud as they're possibly comfortable with, which gives you a really horrible noise, which we love.
Then I hit the drums.
Yeah, the story of you guys with Rock and Robots starts when you guys came to the what we now call the after party. Was at the time the open mic, and Tom sat at the drums and grabbed a bass, was trying to play drums and bass at the same time, and Angus didn't have his sax, so was playing a trumpet.
I was standing at the bar because we'd both come to watch Rock and Robots. I was immediately sold upon hearing the description and the sheer amount of items that are involved. And Tom just said, yeah, I've signed us up for the open mic. And I was like, what? I don't have a saxophone. And then someone behind the bar just said, oh, I've got a trumpet. You can borrow that. I've never played the trumpet before, ever. And I managed to get some notes out, and we did something fairly rhythmic. Until my face gave out.
Yeah, I wasn't very good at playing the drums and the bass at the same time, because that's quite difficult, apparently.
There's no better place to learn than at an open mic.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah,
on anything.
We then had quite a nice jam session afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after that, because my face completely gave out, I just picked up the bass guitar, and then we had someone joined us on Rhodes, and we jammed out, did like a funk set for about 5 or 10 minutes, which was really fun.
Yep, and it was from there that I decided. I had a spare spot the next month, and I decided you guys know what you're doing. And I actually booked you on stage as you were leaving
Yeah,
the stage. I was like, "Do you want to come back next month and do a bit more with your sax?"
yeah. They're at least confident.
Yeah,
Yeah, right or
yeah.
wrong, play it strong. That's what I've always heard.
I'll write that one down. With what you're making, do you think you'd like more members in the band to do more things?
Probably not this band. I would say the principle we've always gone for is keep it simple.
Yeah, I think the reason I mean, yeah, I tried for like 7 or 8 years in London to try and get a band together, and it was always like get 3 or 4 people together, write some songs, spend half a year rehearsing them, writing them. Someone leaves because it's London and it's very the transient. The band collapses and then rinse and repeat. So one of the nice things about this was like it's just the two of us. You can't really break up a band of two people unless you've had a big falling out. It's just like, are you free? It's like, yeah, right. So
It's very easy to book rehearsals with
yeah,
two people. Just like
and
Will
because
is
we got a
gonna
bit
do
silly with it,
this.
like we were like, let's wear matching outfits. Let's just do some covers. Let's sponsor the Coventry City goalkeeper's third kit. Like it's just like it was like a you can't really it was everything was like we're going to try some fun stuff and no, we can't really veto it. And people kind of I think responded to that more than anything else I've done. Like we'd play somewhere and maybe just because we were loud, but people would always go, yeah, that was something.
I don't know. I think it's also we don't take ourselves too seriously,
Yeah,
which is very fun. And I don't know. I think we do try and rehearse ourselves until we're pretty tight, because we're aiming like this. I talked about us being a horrible noise, but this kind of sound we are aiming for is, I guess, almost an like comes from a more electronic style in a way, because we kind of do. Yeah, we cover pop songs and more electronic-y pop songs, ones with really strong riffs. And then our originals are kind of more like, I don't know, genty metal tracks. But all of those things are quite famous for their like precision,
yeah. I think
which I don't know, which is quite easy to do with two people,
yeah.
especially if you've known each other for some time.
I think we say we don't take ourselves seriously either, but I think that's like doesn't mean we don't want to sound good. And I think that's like a big thing. I think this has like been a massive like jazz resurgence. I think over the last few years, and a lot of it has been driven by the internet and a lot of like incredible jazz artists. I'm not putting us into this basket, but like you go online, and it's like people like Lewis Cole, like Dommy JD Beck and stuff. It's like they're incredible musicians, but it's always fun and it's always like they're not taking them. Obviously, they're taking themselves very seriously in their craft, but like what they're presenting is presented in like a very like nonchalant, we're having fun way. And I think people are like responding to that, and that might be one of the reasons that the audience is growing for that genre as well. Um,
Yeah, I think especially
yeah,
because you're talking about jazz and it kind of had a reputation for taking itself way too seriously.
yeah,
And I think a lot of genres can get that reputation as well, but it's really good to see that particular one with fused with internet culture has gone very well, and a lot of that it has influenced us. I would say a lot of that kind of internet culture plus really cool musicians that are really good at what they do.
send up the drums in 6 months and just hit them hard.
I shouldn't have turned the mic on just to cough. Sorry. If we go back to keeping it simple, which you said at the start, how does that track with Beefy Clyro? That seems not the most simple premise for a
I
band.
think that might be just generally. So me and Angus have known each other for a long time. We met. I think I was 18. Angus was 19. I'm now much older than that. Early 30. I'm getting towards mid 30s now. Um, that's cruel. So we've known each other a long time, and we met at university in a jazz band there, which I was not going to try out for. I hadn't got to university. I was a bit out of my comfort zone, There, the vibe was very kind of, it was a wealthy vibe, I'd say, at the university. And I felt quite out of place. And then there was this jazz band there, and I was like, don't like jazz music. So wasn't going to try out. And but I was the only person with a bass guitar, I think, that had joined that year, and they needed a bass player. So there was a lot of cajoling for me to at least try out. So I tried out.
I don't know how I heard that you had a bass, but I actually, you must have written it on your personal statement because we had gotten very friendly with like the admissions people for the college, and always said just like, right, who's doing what, who's playing what, so we can go and hound them, which nowadays would be seen as a massive
GDPR
privacy breach.
Yeah. So if GDPR was in effect in 2010, this band would not exist, I think. Anyway,
we come on the anti-regulation band. Well, make of that what you will. If you don't like us, then I guess then we're pro-regulation. Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Anyway, join the band.
We got to be Claro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, join the band. Had a really good time there. Kind of found my people, so that was nice. And Angus was in that band as well. And then we just kind of realised we had a big, like, similar taste in music and lots of things. And I'd been a massive Biffy Clyro fan before going to uni. Kind of the early days where they had lots of weird and wonderful. I mean, I think, to be honest, I think they get an unfair rap from some of the old school fans like me. Some of the new stuff's very good as well. But I think it was just another open mind night. And it was like, want to do something weird? Let's start a Biffy Clyro tribute band that dresses cows called Beefy Clyro. And we had one rehearsal. I think I made you go on bass.
Yeah, this is another example of like, yeah. I guess that was retaliation for
making me go on bass.
Yeah, but then I had to learn and play bass, which I did not do. I'd never touched one.
And then our friend Charles was on drums, and we played this one open mic night. We didn't get the cow costumes. We played an under-rehearsed 3-song set. Called it a day there. But then our Facebook page was still hanging around. And I think we had one just like reunion in like 2016, 2017 or something, where we just, for fun, rented out a rehearsal room in Shoreditch and did a video. And then again in lockdown, the Beefy Claro Facebook page got a message from it was a Virgin Radio DJ. What was his name? Sorry, you can cut this while I just double check. I know his name.
Oh, yeah.
I found the page.
Eddie Temple Morris. That's it. He's a he's got a show on Virgin Radio, and I just got this message being like, "Hey, we've just had a long chat about you on on Virgin Radio." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, we was talking about, and I had to listen to it, and it was like, yeah, they were talking about mispronouncing band names, and he was like, "You wouldn't call Biffy Clyro Beefy Clyro," and then he searched it, and then they had a good long look at us. I didn't see that message for like 2 months or something.
It is a shame because he has offered to put on a show for us.
The reunion. Yeah.
Virgin Radio.
A meet and greet, he was going to call it.
MEAT. Very good.
Yeah. But I think that opportunity might have passed now.
But
that was just one of those.
Ask him if he fancies listening to saxophone bands.
I already did. He said he would, but I think he's quite busy. He was very, very nice, actually. He doesn't know who I am. He's been conversing with a picture of a cow called just with the name Beefy Clyro. But he did say
that we were on hiatus due to musical differences.
Yeah, we did say that. But he was very, very friendly, very, very nice. Didn't have to get in touch or respond to any of my messages. But that's just like, so I think, me and Angus have done a lot of just stupid bands together over the years. Chill Out was another one where I was just trying to massively optimize a Spotify profile, and I've accidentally got control of the artist called Chill Out on Spotify after my tinkering around. So we've got this Facebook profile with like tens or hundreds of thousands of followers, and I don't know what to do with it. because everyone that releases their chill out music under the name Chill Out, it all goes to our profile. And there's definitely a way to take advantage of that. Yeah.
I've had a similar problem with that because I was in a rap group called The Last of Us, and there were about six other artists called The Last of Us, and their music just kind of ended up on our page. I didn't choose the name. It was a guy in. He said he was in Germany. He's actually in Iran the whole time. It's a long story. I'll tell. I did a 20-minute presentation on this at a PowerPoint night once. And like the music's still there, but one morning I woke up and new release from The Last of Us called Twincest, and like
Oh god.
the
Oh no.
and the artwork is a skull with the word bonerizing on it. And I'm like, get this off our page. This not us, but we still get. I mean, artists called The Last of Us still upload music, and it still gets put onto our page, even though they should do the thing and separate it.
So what you're saying is we should upload some Saxophone band tracks with Chill Out as an artist.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, we could collab. Yeah.
Featured and provide a really, really jarring experience for anyone.
Yeah.
Expecting
We could change. We could like
Chill Out music.
the stuff we could do is change like the profile picture to us, do the bio, send out messages to these like tens of thousands of people. I could talk about the holes in Spotify's data model all day. If you want, no, I won't do that.
Yeah. So when I knew I was going to be talking about Beefy Claro with you, about half an hour before the start of the interview, I decided that I needed a pun. Best I could do was, when we collide, we come to heifer. If we don't, we'll always be a calf.
It's very good. That's more puns than we ever made. And
Yeah.
the only thing we actually ever did was say the word moo
Yeah.
in a break once.
Yeah.
Content.
Right at the beginning of the set.
No. Moo.
Yeah.
And that's it. That was the only reference, aside from the cow onesies that we never ended up.
So I think the fact that we weren't wearing them and then we mooed.
There's also no pictures of you on the Facebook page with the cow outfits at all.
we never
got
actually got them. We had
Which
big
means that
plans.
the bio is a lie because it says the world's greatest Biffy Clyro tribute act that dresses cows.
Yeah.
Well,
To be honest,
You've got to
Yeah.
sell the product before you make it, I guess.
Yeah, and yeah, I do. I remember finishing the set with the one that became the Matt Cardle song, "Many of Horror."
Yep.
And that, we just hadn't rehearsed, and that was actually quite difficult to play and sing at the same time. I remember. So I think because the set ended quite badly, with me playing all the wrong chords, we just kind of never picked it up again.
We also had other stuff on.
Yeah, we were doing degrees and playing like once a week in this jazz band. So
in terms of the future, well, short term or long term, what does the future hold for Saxophone Band past Sunday?
Not a lot at the moment. We've got nothing booked.
yeah, it's basically the future is Sunday at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm up in Sheffield now, so we're a little bit. Well, we're not rehearsing at the moment. We're not booking any gigs in. We'll probably do something, whether it's Saxophone Band or it's something else. That's easier to do long distance, maybe more computer based
Yeah, I
stuff.
think we're brewing with ideas because Tom, you've made references to being in Sheffield, but Tom's actually doing a music degree in Sheffield, so kind of at the moment it's like letting you focus on that and seeing what new ideas you come up with and what else you want to play that maybe isn't drums because you're you're a guitar player.
I'm still trying to get better at the drums. I think
That's good.
if I could be a solid rhythm section as a man,
That'd be
I'd die
perfect.
happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
In terms of like what we want to do in the future, I think we're both. I don't know. I'm happy just playing gigs in London, to be honest.
Yeah.
The idea of being on tour for an excessively long time is not an appealing one. So just kind of nice, slow accrual of audience that will just keep coming to our gigs is lovely for me. And yeah, we've got a few promoters that nudge us occasionally to ask us to play. So I think we'll maybe do something again in the summer. Is most likely.
Yeah, I think with this, I'm happy to, a couple of gigs a year, a few gigs a year. If something changes, get back to it. But generally, musically, I think we both got a lot of stuff that we're doing outside of this band.
You got anything to plug on your
Oh,
side? Sorry, I'm not
no.
the host. I shouldn't be asking.
Go for it. Do you have anything to plug?
I'm just analysing classical romantic music in my bedroom, which isn't any. You can't plug that.
Plug Tom's
I
most
am.
recent essay.
Yeah, I will be playing my first solo set in Sheffield in February, as part of like the pop jazz recital. But it's in a place called Firth Hall, which is really nice.
What's the date?
But yeah, what is the date? If anyone's about in Sheffield, I think it's the 19th of February. It's a Wednesday. I'll have 10 minutes. There'll be lots of people on the course playing, so there'll be a lot of kind of 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and then why is that old man getting up there? And then I'll make a joke about that to ease how self-conscious I'll be, and then I'll get there, crack on.
Start shredding.
But yeah, I'd like to start doing some more stuff like that. Maybe get a band together up here on the guitar, something a bit more laid back, maybe a bit of Midwest emo-y type stuff with a person that isn't me singing, and just kind of jam out on the guitar. But there's time for that. I'll figure that out.
Okay, and Angus, anything to plug?
I have a solo live electronic set coming up at a show called Crux AV. So it's going to be like an audiovisual electronic night or day. It's on a Sunday, 16th of February, at New River Studios, which I think is in North London somewhere.
That's cool. I've been there.
Yeah, I'm actively composing music for that at the moment. I've been given a 40-minute set, and I'm planning on it being kind of an unbroken 40 minutes of music. So it's going to be quite proggy. I'm going to work in some of my existing tracks because, yeah, I'm a music producer as well as performer. So this is going to be like a psychedelic electronic journey. I'm going to do a bit of saxophone, bit of playing on a keyboard, synth, and a bit of singing, which will be the first time I've like sung outside of a choir at school or like BVs in a band. So I don't know why I'm creating a rod for my own back there, but it's going to be fun. It's hopefully going to be a journey for everyone to be on. It's going to make people feel things as they go through. That's the idea. So yeah, Sunday 16th of Feb at New River Studios.
That was a much better plug than mine, which was just the city of Sheffield.
I mean, I do happen to have that gig coming up that I've just written something that I've sent out to people earlier today. So
Great, yeah. I will check my calendar. And so we're going to feature one of your songs on this podcast, and it's Alan Kornikova. Let's hear about Alan, or the song, or both.
I think the song that came before the song title. I think that happens with all of what we've written.
yeah, I'd been listening to the Doom soundtrack a lot, Doom Eternal, which has it's just very like heavy, dirgy, with a lot of jumps in octaves, which is really easy on like a guitar or bass guitar, really difficult on a saxophone.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not compose something that's a bit like that?
Originally, you had to change the riff slightly to be able to breathe. I remember that happening.
Yeah, guitars don't breathe. Maybe that's the name of another track.
Yeah, this is really fun to play live. I'd say I'm 80% happy with my performance in this recording.
Excellent. We love to sell ourselves.
Yeah. Guess,
but yeah,
you at home can guess which 80%.
and yeah, as discussed before, the title comes from a Wikipedia page. So if you're going to listen, whip your phone out, search for Alan Kornikova. That's Alan with 2 L's. You may recognize the second name as he is the little brother of the famous tennis player, but famous in his own right, and you'll see.
Yeah.
If you can, bonus points if you can make your reading last the exact length of the track, which I think is about 2.5 minutes.
Right, thank you guys. Let's hear from saxophone bands, breathing and drumming, hands hit. Yep.
Yeah.
Where this and for the next 2.5 minutes, your ears are the moneymakers. Saxophone band at Alan Cornucova there. Thank you very much, Angus and Tom, for stopping by. Let's just move very quickly on because that was a long interview to the next interview I've got here with another returner who played back in November, P. Crema. Joining me now on the Rock and Robots podcast, P. Crema. Ciao. P. Crema.
Oh, hello,
Yeah.
ciao. Hi, thank you for this amazing opportunity to put a step forward in my, well, not my, I'm just an agent, but this conquest of the Earth, which has been commanded by some very distant planets. And yeah. So, yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello
Good
to
evening.
all glory to our new Dark Overlords. Yeah. So let's hear. So for everyone who is not watching on YouTube, could you describe your outfit right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically I'm naked, so this is just me. So that's the yeah,
Okay.
it sounds much worse when for people who are not seeing what's going on. So
Okay.
yeah, it sounds very bad actually.
To the humans who are listening, P. Crema resembles a mallard, a duck. He's
Yeah,
all green.
green
Yeah.
duck. I'm wearing some headphones, and it's a very uncomfortable outfit to be honest, because
Yeah.
I put it on like 10 minutes ago to just get into, and I'm already dying, but that's the best part actually.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I know
pretty
that
much.
after the last time you played Rock and Robots, you got yourself a summer outfit because you sweated so much during your performance.
Yeah, I do have a summer outfit now, yeah. But it's too late anyway for the summer outfit.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah. Anyway, so let's hear the name. What is P. Crema, and why does he take the form of a duck?
So thanks for asking about the name. So the origin of the name is a very boring and unrelated story that dates back to 2001, I think. So that was the name of an event. At the time, I was doing short movies and organizing some art shows in a venue in Italy. And I decided to make this event, which was so Crema is Progetto Crema means a project custard, basically. So the idea was that okay, the idea came much after the event was made, but you can relate to custard as something that has a lot of stuff in it. There's eggs, so there's potential of life, there's potential of creating stuff from it, which is a lot of bullshit that came afterwards. We just thought that it was a good idea to make a big pot of custard and provide biscuits to entice people to come to the event, which was like a free creative event. We would provide music stuff, like to play instruments and all the back line, projection, DJ, a lot of stuff. So the things for drawing and painting. So it was supposed to be a very creative gathering event. And on the night, there were 5 people overall. 2 were me and the friend that was helping me organize. 2 more were staff from the venue, including the owner, and then a random friend that came, but not for the night. He didn't know that it was that night, that event. So it was so bad but we still liked the idea so much that that name kind of stuck to me, and I used it for and to organize music mostly in the venue and that was for 2-3 years afterwards. So I ran the venue, was the art director of the venue, and there was a much better experience overall. So
Right.
that's the origin of the name. So the reason why I came back for this endeavor is that the first gig I did was in Italy in 2023, last year in summer. And while I had started composing my music throughout 2022, I didn't have a name or anything. I didn't think about a name because I never thought about performing live. So I am still known as Crema, Progetto Crema in my town. So I thought, well, I'll just use something that people recognizes. So, and that's literally the only reason why I use that. And now it's too late to change it, because I thought about changing it to Luigi 3000, just because it doesn't make any sense, and I thought it sounded great, but I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want any connection with Nintendo, so the Luigi from Nintendo, but yeah, so I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, and why does P. Crema take the form of a duck?
That's because I play this game which is called Duck Game Online with some friends, and it's a very stupid, silly 2D shooter deathmatch with ducks that kill themselves with very weird items like tables. Of course, there are regular guns and stuff, but there's a table, there's a Bible, there's flowers, and there's plenty of random stuff, and it's very funny. So I decided to dress up for Halloween as a duckling character. My character was green. Actually, no, it's not green, it's blue, but the only onesie and mask I found easily on Amazon where everything was green. So I went for the green duck. And then the first time I had a gig in Italy, I realized that I had so much stage fright that, change of background light. So I brought the mask, and I decided just literally 2 minutes before starting performing to wear the mask. And it was a game changer, because I think I will never be able to do anything like what I do on live, performing without a mask. So yeah, and the duck, I think I never thought about ducks as my favorite animal or anything. I still don't think they are, but being a duck is so much different than how you perceive a duck from a human point of view. So it gives you that freedom to do what you think a duck will do. And yeah. So yeah, that works very well for some reason.
Definitely. I think the way you move as a duck is definitely one that people don't do, I think. So
But I wonder if ducks do, but yeah.
Yeah, the music itself, a lot of it uses some quite old gear. How did you, well, I guess show off your gear? Let's have a look.
Okay, let's have a look. So the gear is, I think you can hear me, but you don't see me. So in this case, people who are not on YouTube have a slight advantage. Well, they don't, but it's just still, they're not losing anything. So now I'm back. And so this is the only one that I haven't attached to the mains that I can show you. So that's an Amiga 600, and it's an old computer. The technology is from 1987, basically. And so this is a quite an advanced machine for the time, because this one is from 92, I think, or 93. And it has, so it can handle samples on 4 channels, 2 left and 2 right. It has a hard drive. And there are a lot of tracker software that you can make music, tracking music. So it was very useful to make trance, techno music, drum and bass, these kind of things in the 80s and 90s. But since you can put any sample in it, they are 8-bit sample, you can pretty much do anything with it. So basically I compose on, I can actually show briefly on screen what it looks like, but very briefly, if only I could find the switch on. Yeah. So it's if you're not familiar with trackers, it's just you probably know the piano roll, like Fruity Loops, these kind of things. They are in horizontal. You have this piano roll, and you do all the channels in parallel. The tracker is pretty much the same thing, except that it's in vertical, and where is it? Huh. And this is, well, this will be what it looks like, but I haven't loaded the software. So this is how it looks. And that's just a bunch of, 4 columns. With music, you just put the notes, the effects, and the samples in it. And you compose the music with, no, wait, I lost it. Of course I lost it.
Do those have
Yeah.
to be individually programmed, or can you go from piano roll, or is it a case of?
There is no piano roll, so you have to. You can connect a MIDI keyboard to the computer, so you can just input the notes in each column. The columns are not polyphonic, so it will cut the next sample. The next sample will cut the previous sample, so that's a bit limited. But pretty much you can. Each column is independent. You will put whatever sample, whatever notes and melody or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's like a piano roll, but you're limited to 4 channels.
Yeah. And how much memory do these Amigas have?
The basic ones, and this one has 2 megabytes, but you can work with one that has 1 megabyte. So an Amiga 500, which is the older one. The samples actually, the smallest sample, the smallest song I've made is 33K kilobytes, because the music is generated live by the computer, so it's not recorded and then it's not stored. It's generated the moment that you play it. So you're just giving inputs on the program to make this song by giving all the inputs before.
Okay. And are these old computers things you grew up with, or things you discovered when
I
trying to make
did grow
music?
up with them. Yeah, my father was teaching informatics in the early 80s, and so I was lucky to have all these home computers from very early age. So when I was 5, I was already playing on Commodore 64. And then I switched to an Amiga later, and I think I played with Amiga until 1995, 96. But the thing is that I never knew that you could do music with that. And this came very recently when I started streaming on Twitch, retro gaming, and I started collecting Amigas here in London. And then I thought, well, I went to music because a colleague was making a video game as a birthday present for another colleague. And he asked me if I wanted to do pixel art. And I say yes, because I love doing pixel art. And then I found myself so frustrated because I forgot how to do that. So I said, okay, you can do music if you like, and do music. And I started doing the music. And and then I mixed this thing that I love doing with the fact that I had all these old machines lingering about, and I found out that it was much more entertaining for me to limit myself a lot with the limitation of this machine, rather than having all the instruments and the possibilities that, for example, Fruity Loops Studio, FL Studio now gives you. So yeah, that's the I found that limiting myself as much as possible is very powerful too.
Yeah. Have you, in this project or any other projects, used more modern softwares, well, like I guess like FL Studio or
Yeah.
to make stuff?
So yeah, at the beginning I restarted. I played 25 years ago. I was playing the piano and the guitar and the bass guitar, and I was learning the trumpet. Everything I sucked at everything. Like everything was so bad. I just couldn't play that well. Not as and I wasn't very focused on that. So I started recently with FL Studio 2 years ago, and before moving to this, and then I moved straight to this tracker, Pro Tracker for Amiga, and I did something else on with some a synth I have. So actually, the song that we're gonna play later is a rendition. It's an 8-bit rendition on Tracker from an actual song that I did on some synths with more modern stuff. But I would like to say that this adventure is strictly based on trying to do as much as possible with as little money as possible. So I would like to specify that the synth I have was found on the street by a friend who asked me, should I take it in? Then, yeah. So, and it was working perfectly fine. It's an Innovation Key Station 61, I think, which probably cost like £500 new. And yeah, so yeah, that is absolutely the mission, like to try to do music with the least money possible, the least investment as possible.
Yeah. Always good to adopt, not shop. That's I never knew it
Yeah,
applied to
yeah.
instruments though. Yeah. I don't think if I don't think I have any found instruments. No, that's that's a new one for me. That's what a find. That's
Or you can build some. Like this is, I decided I needed, like the world needed some duck branded instruments. So this is noise box that I built, and literally does nothing, but it's really cool, and it has an antenna, which I really find very nice, and it's branded. So as you can
nice.
see, and then there's this broad beam theme that I kind of put everywhere.
Yeah. Do you have any songs that use the noise box or any like um clips of the noise
Um,
box we could hear?
it does. I do have only live. I didn't really register anything on the songs. I use pedals. Yes, I do use guitar pedals also for recording some. The thing is that being limited to two channels, and two channels means that if I pass two channels through a pedal, both will be affected by the pedal. So it's a bit tricky. So I need to prepare the song knowing that those two channels will pass through a pedal. But yeah, I've used the Noisebox live on a couple of songs. Yeah, I think that it's mostly the people like seeing this item in action rather than. I mean, it does. Probably you can hear there's a bit of a maracas thingy, and then this, which if you connect it to a reverb and an echo pedal, it's a delay. Sounds quite cool.
So you have played in the UK and Italy. Is there any
Hmm.
difference between the audiences that you get there?
I don't know because I have had a very good experiences in the UK and very good experiences in Italy as well. The difference is probably that in Italy, especially in summer, you tend to play much later than you play in the UK. So normally concerts will start at 10, 10:30 or 11 and finish at 1, 1:30 in venues, which is usually not the case in the UK, or at least in London. The amount of drunk people in Italy is much higher, but maybe just also because of the time that you play, so they have more time to get there. I don't know. Then it is a little biased for Italy because many of the people that come to see me, they know me from before, so they are friends or people that have already known me from other things that I did in the past. So usually I get a lot of presents at these concerts. And I get to play in summer outside. So the one thing that I like to do is to send the image of the Amiga to a projector that will project on the wall or a facade of a house, something like that, which is quite choreographic, I say. But I think that in terms of music appreciation and what I do, I find more connection with people in the UK because it's not like in Italy. It's much easier to be seen as like just a clown jumping around, and which I absolutely adore, and that's probably the best way to appreciate my performance. But in the UK, you also get a lot of connection for the music, a lot more interest and a lot more culture. At least I compare with a small town in Italy, a small city. So also the culture is not that advanced, I would say. I'm sorry for all the people from my town that we listen to it, but we are all on the same page because I have fantastic friends. So so that is a bit of a difference, and London is probably very, very advanced in this sense.
Interesting thing to hear for people from these villages in Italy. I think that's it's I didn't expect you to talk about advancements of civilization, and yeah, I also couldn't
No,
imagine ending. Yeah, go on.
no. The thing is that especially in my town, we complain a lot about how special it is. So we are basically all on the same page, even if that doesn't make much better in my town. So also because most of my friends that I am connected to because of my previous life in promoting concerts, indie concerts, like of a wide range of genres from all around the world. So like from hip hop to electronic, indie pop, hardcore punk, and metal, and so I say we because it's really a scene, a community over there, and it's very divided. Like the people that listen to some independent music and the people that are completely clueless in that sense and they listen to other things and they don't even understand how to access that music. So it's a bit complicated, but it's very clear in a way.
Yeah. Okay. I also couldn't imagine ending a gig at 1 a.m. That's, I mean, like all the trains stop in London for that matter. Yeah, I run these on Sunday nights, and yeah, people have work and want to sleep more than about 4 hours. So it's just
Yeah, that's really hard in a way. Yeah, I mean, I think that what I appreciate very much when I first came to the UK is that to London is that that's cool because concerts end early, so you can go to concerts every day of the week if you want. Because I mean, you will manage to get some sleep the day after and go to work normally, which you cannot do mostly in Italy because I remember normally you go to a venue, yeah, it will end at 1. You go back home half an hour, but well, there's no backstage, so why not hanging around with the artists, speak, have another beer until 3, and that's basically every 2 or 3 days a week. That was happening like 20 years ago. So yeah.
yeah, I could have done that when I was 20. I absolutely can't do that now. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, same.
So, continuing, I guess, with a theme of, I'd say obsolete technology, but you say it's, I guess you're proving it's not really obsolete, you released cassettes with. If I had a player, I would listen to these. And yeah, so a couple of the cassettes of yours I have are the Error EP and Come to the Duck Side.
Yeah.
Tell us more about these.
That is very funny, and I hope Simon listens to this from the others, because I wasn't planning to release an album, the Count to the Dark Side. I was using Count to the Dark Side as a slogan, like on, of course, a wordplay on the Count to the Dark Side, or the Dark Side of the Moon, or whatever. But the others, they advertised a concert they come to play. They advertised it as me presenting the new album, Come to the Dark Side. And I thought it was brilliant, but I never thought about that. That was not happening before. So from the moment it actually happened. So that's why there is an album and it's called Come to the Dark Side. So I kind of had to thank them, and the others for that. And the reason I make cassettes is that, of course, I love all technology, but because I never try to be produced or see how to produce things in a professional way, let's say, or being sponsored or whatever, which I think it takes a long time to manage to get there and to get contacts and all that. And I'm too old for that. So I just decided to do something that I could do at home. And CDs would be probably tacky today. They're not old enough, I think. They're not vintage enough. We're still using them, I think. Yes, I'm a bit out of the CD market, but vinyls are fantastic, but they're too expensive. So cassettes, I could just get a tape deck, and cassettes are quite easy. Actually, most of them for the first part of tape making, I was just going on FreeCycle and on Nextdoor Free and the other cassettes that people were just giving away, which granted me all these many fantastic cases for free. So I didn't need to buy the cases. And then I printed stuff at home, and of course I made the graphics at home, which is often is a collage, the covers. And then I bought the cassettes from a website that allows you to buy cassettes from wrong orders or returned orders, which are much cheaper than the regular ones. So just to lower the cost and to pursue my mission of spending least possible on anything, pretty much, except for the cat. The cat gets all the best and all the money that we earn at home, but yeah, that's another story.
Right.
And then it's an object. Even if you can play, it's a nice object. It screams vintage, and if you can sell it for £4 or £5 at a concert, you add the download code, and I think there's really a lot more margin if you want to fund your own adventure in music. There's a lot of margin to get back your money that you will invest anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for speaking to me. And before we go, we will hear, I guess, a place you've ventured to, La Large de Montpied. What's this? What are we about to hear?
So this is the rendition of something I played on a synth, but more than that, it actually only half, because at some point I got bored of it, and the second half of the song is pretty much something new that just came. My approach to composing is very random. So I start something, I just feel like I want to do something, and I don't know where it's gonna bring me. And I usually never delete it. I will just get to the end of it and complete it, whatever it is. The titles, La Largeur de mon pied is French, and that means the width of my foot. And I don't write lyrics. There's no lyrics in my songs. So I try to convey whatever the message may be in the title. And hopefully there's actually no purpose in the title, like no meaning at all, which is the case of this one. So the titles will just come out of I'm having a conversation with a friend or with my fiance who's French. So in this case, that's where this title comes from. And if it sounds funny enough, I will note it down. It will be the title of my next song. So unless there is something that really recalls something that's happening in the song, I will just stick to complete randomness when it comes to the titles. And I kind of think that when I think very superficially, my approach is very superficial, I have to say. And I don't want to delve too much in anything because I'm afraid of ruining something. I don't know if I make myself clear, but to overthink or to over justify, to forcefully try to make sense. I'm thinking of the title of the Talking Heads movie, Stop Making Sense. I adore it. I completely love it. The thing that superficially comes from it, like it's probably better to stop making sense and to be a bit more free in what you're doing and not worry too much about what you're doing, why you're doing it, how it can be received. I think it's very important to also. I mean, it's very important to have to be meaningful and everything, but it's also important to be free to let something come out without too much thinking about it. So La Largeur de Mon Pied is loosely inspired to the feeling of the crack-throw intros and the demo scene of the 90s from the computer. So when well, probably not you and not me either, but if people who had like video games or software that were cracked and were not original, there would be this intro that was added by the people who cracked the game or that released it. And there would be always this tune that comes with it. And I never gave it a thought at the time when I was a kid playing these games, but that was actually a medium of passing the music, like of releasing the music for many artists. And I'm thinking of people like Dub Mood or Zabutom or Wasp from Pacific, which are all connected to demo scene artists. And so that is loosely the sound that I'm trying to that appeals to me, that I try sometimes to connect to when I do some of my chiptune music. So the second part of this song is much more inspired to that. The first part is just me showing off previously on a synth and thinking that it sounded cool, but that's not that cool. So I just changed it to chiptune and twisted it a little bit.
Okay. Crema, thank you very much.
Thank you so
let's
much.
see. Your next adventure is To the Others. 10th of November. We will see you there. La largeur de mon pied by Crema was what you just heard on the Rock and Robots podcast. Cheers for listening. I'd now like to move on to, because I don't have anyone to interview me, I do a little monologue in these. I'm going to talk about one of my earliest influences with music. I didn't listen to a lot of pop music growing up, but I did watch a lot of The Simpsons. This is probably one of my longest. I mean, this is the second copy I had of the complete guide, because the first one got worn out so badly from me opening and closing it every time Simpsons was on. This is actually part of the box set with Forever and Beyond Forever. I hadn't opened this book in a while, and I'm going to paraphrase a quote from Matt Groening in the introduction of this book. The Simpsons is a show that rewards you for paying attention. And I definitely was someone who paid attention to things. The amount of information this book gives you on each episode. It's got quotes, a box of like stuff you may have missed in every episode. I used to sit watching the TV with this book open, looking out for the stuff that I might have missed so I don't miss it. And I think that also carries over to my music. That wasn't even the point I was going to make when I was starting this whole monologue. But really, I think that the music in The Simpsons definitely carried over to the theatricality of the music that I want to make today. The songs in The Simpsons make things a lot more dramatic than they otherwise would have been, punctuating, your evil plans to kidnap and skin 25 puppies with a parody of Be Our Guest is something that obviously it doesn't happen in real life, but it just makes it so much more entertaining, ridiculous, and you forget that he's planning to just skin dogs for fashion. I think the Stonecutters song as well was another one I really enjoyed back in the day. I've got an old notebook where I started writing the lyrics out to the Stonecutters song because I thought I'd need it in various other places. I never did. But it's fun to think that your own secret society has its own very catchy song. Like, why else would you want to join a secret society? And finding out that The Simpsons was scored by a live orchestra later in life, I think that was... You don't really notice it at the time, but definitely going back, the incidental music, especially in the early seasons. I've watched a few later season episodes. I feel like the orchestra doesn't play so much of a part. Before I was able to play any instruments, I had a lot of visions of songs which used full orchestras, I think, like horns and strings. I've never been able to do that myself, apart from maybe with Sandy, with a little bit of the strings that I put in the break there. But definitely, I was imagining myself being the sort of a band leader, I guess, who also sings. And that part of that was due to The Simpsons. I also remember back when I was in, I think, year 3, so this would have been about 7 years old, they wanted us to write poems, and I decided to write mine in the form of a song. And it was about the stars being suspended as if they were in nooses. And I remember that was directly... because I hadn't seen the word noose before, apart from the description of a couch gag on the Treehouse of Horror. And it was like, the moon strangles the stars on neck noose night. And like, in my head, that was a song with like full instrumentation and full harmony, multiple singers. And they asked me to form it in an assembly. I just couldn't. I wrote, because it's a song, and they wanted me to just read it by myself with no accompaniment. So I backed out of it. It was probably my first incident of stage fright. And I didn't really have the words to explain why I couldn't do that. It's just, I couldn't do the same theatricality of it. But the amount of effort that goes into making The Simpsons is, a lot more than what I do in my stage shows. But I do like when people acknowledge the effort in the same way that, the amount of effort and background things that go into an episode of The Simpsons. So yeah, thank you, Matt Groening, Conan O'Brien, Sam Simon. There are more people's names on there, but thank you guys for making the show, and I guess continuing to make it. It is still pretty good from what I've seen from more recent seasons. On the robot side of Rock and Robots, it's been a couple of months since the last podcast, but we have had our Champion of Champions, and a couple of robots have been left with me, and I'm going to profile one of them. It is the winner of the first Rock and Robots, the first two Rock and Robots competitions back in 2022 before the year break. It is Domino. So for those of you who are not on the YouTube channel, Domino is an invertible 3 wedge-litted box shaped and designed a lot like a pizza box with the one blue side, one red side. And looking at this up close, first off, it's kind of chunkier and bigger than I remember it being, having never handled it before. It's got 2 sets of tires on each wheel. I don't know if there was a plan to make it into tracks initially. And the wedgelets pivot. There is a little bit of damage on it from a piece of acetate has come off. What else? I haven't given it a drive, but I mean, this was, I think, Neil Evans is the builder, the Roboteer. I feel like this was one of his first robots, and the precision on it, not just on the 3D printing, but on the very flush screws, is, I mean, it's way better than the first things I designed. But yeah, Domino won the first 2 tournaments at Rock and Robots under 2 different drivers. Neil wasn't able to make it to the Champion of Champions, so he sent this and another robot to his other champion to be driven by other people. I guess I'll talk you through the tournament. Champion of Champions was a straight-up single elimination tournament. Going straight into the second round, we had Little Lift, who had won 3 tournaments, Domino, who'd won 2 tournaments, and Jet, 2 Shrimp, 2 Fresh, and 2 Liftman. 2 Shrimp, 2 Fresh had, by the time of this tournament, won 2. 2 Liftman was the Roboteer was a 2-time winner, and so was Jet. It's mine. Also a 2-time winner. We had Flipside fighting Step Up in the first round, as well as Mace Oddity fighting Greenie, and Project One fighting Philippa. Into the quarterfinals, we found Little Lift against Step Up, Jet against Greenie, 2 Liftman against 2 Shrimp, 2 Fresh, and Project One against Domino. Past there, I think you'll have to watch the video. We had a big trophy to give out, and 2 smaller second and third place trophies. Then we had the Ultimate Rumble. I don't know if I want to give you results. Watch the video. I'll give you results next time. But yeah, check out the Champion of Champions. It's on my YouTube channel. Eli Gumble. I don't know whether to start a Rock and Robots YouTube channel. I don't know. Then we had the Ultimate Rumble. The winners of all the Rumbles from the beginning. There was one winner. And yeah, I'll tell you the winner next month. But the 18 robots, up from 16 in the previous 2 months. It was a 6 groups of 3 situation where the winners go straight through. Second and third in each group go to a wildcard playoff for the 4th semi-final spot. And for January, it seems we've got 18 entrants again, so it's going to be the same kind of thing. We also started introducing side events. We did a 2v2 tournament. We did the Champion of Champions as a side event, but it was going to be grudge matches in January, but we're going to skip those and instead put another round of group fights in. And that'll hopefully give us a lot more flex time. With that, I think it's time that I played you a song. And with my talk of theatricality and making things dramatic, I think I'm going to play you a song called Marshmallows. Wrote it when I was the first time I was ever ghosted. Marshmallows is a song I wrote in 2012. I met someone on Tiny Chat randomly. It was a real person. We Skyped after that, and pretty much till 5 a.m. and I was pretending to feed her marshmallows over Skype. It made sense at the time. Then, so after a few weeks of conversation, she didn't want to talk one night, but I saw that she was active online. I was thinking, I don't know this feeling. So I wrote the first half of the song. It was definitely an experience for me, and the story continued from there, I think. The tune as well comes from another one of my songs played backwards. I saw your tweets when you said you couldn't Skype me. I told myself I would not jump to conclusions. But I don't know what's worse, this or all the confusion. I don't know what to think, but I know what seems likely. We've never met, but I still feel this affinity. internet is vast, but it feels like you're right there. So who'd have ever thought that there'd be a night where the distance between us would feel like infinity? 'Cause in this very short time we've grown close, and I had just expected this to grow. I never thought that it would ever go. I even went and stocked up on marshmallows. 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 So those conclusions are concluded were inaccurate, as you stayed over for some time. What could be sweeter? The distance between us was mere nanometers. Spot of awkward but more or less immaculate. But as you left, the conversations less lively. The sentence back and forth, then nothing for a few days. I get this feeling we won't move to a new stage. Will you be here again? I think of you just like those tweets when you said you couldn't Skype me. And they're here again, and it bothers me, 'cause in this very short time we've grown close, and I had just expected this to grow. I never thought that it would ever go. I even went and stocked up on marshmallows. 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 And there's no way to find out how this goes, 'cause when it fills me up I cannot speak marshmallows. And there's no way to find out how this goes. When I hold it over a flame it sticks to me. Marshmallows. Marshmallows. Thank you for listening to the Rock and Robots podcast. This is the third one. I'm not sure if we're doing it monthly anymore. Every time I get 2 interviews, I'll package something together. The next Rock and Robots date is Sunday, the 12th of January, featuring Saxophone band and Sonny Wild. Hopefully I'll be interviewing him soon. There is robots as usual. I'm going to be entering a step up. It's one hell of a night. It's the others, Stoke Newington, doors open 5:30. It's £4 online, £5 on the door. It is one hell of a night. I put a lot of effort into making it the best I can. Please come if you're in the area. Make a trip. You know, if you found this podcast and you're from nowhere near here, it's worth a trip to London. Thanks for listening. Join me for the next one. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bye bye.